Voices of the Village is brought to you by the Greg Olson Local History Room, a treasure chest of Ridgefield Park history.
My name is Karen Korn. I was formerly an executive assistant in a healthcare management company.
How long have you resided in Ridgefield Park?
About 55 years. About 55 years, because I married, I moved away, and then came back. Because this was always home to me. Any place I ever lived, this was always home to me.
Did you attend any of the local schools, and what is your fondest memory?
I attended most of the schools in town, Grant, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and the high school. One of my fondest memories is fencing in the high school. I was looking for something to do. I was a sophomore. I didn't start my freshman year because I was getting acclimated to the high school. And so I like sports. And there was, at the time, nothing for girls to do except intramurals. And I wasn't interested in that. I wanted a team sport. I wanted something that was more organized and to play different high schools. So fencing was the only thing that was offered to the girls. Unfortunately, back in the day, you had to take what you could get, and fencing, and I'll tell you, fencing was one of the greatest things because it taught me to organize my time between my sports activity and my schoolwork.
What is your favorite thing about living in the village?
This village is wonderful. You can go any place from here. You can take a bus into New York City. You can go to any of the airports, and then you can see the world. So we're accessible to the entire world.
How would you describe Ridgefield Park to a non-resident?
We are a family community. We try to promote family. We try to have a good sense of community with the activities with the children, with all our citizens, old and young. We have a nice senior citizen center that offers lunch and activities. There are clubs in town for almost anybody who is looking for something to do. We have some of the biggest organizations in the country, the Elks, the Masons. People can join if they want to be part of the community and help out.
How has the village changed over the years?
The village has changed greatly since I moved here as a young child. In the early 60s, moms and dads, moms didn't work. Moms were stay-home moms, okay? So not a lot of moms had cars. Not a lot of moms worked outside the home, so they were always there. If you wanted to go anywhere in town at the time, you walked, okay? You weren't picked up and dropped off unless you had somebody that was willing to do that for you, okay? You walked across town to go to the parks, and I remember Veterans Park very well with the 4th of July fireworks and just the activities. The little kiddie pool, the swimming kiddie pool. My mother would take us to have picnic lunch and go in the little kiddie pool at Veterans Park. The kiddie pool's now gone, and we do have a town pool. That's one good thing. At the time, when I was in 8th grade and it was proposed, I was like, everybody in town's got a pool. Why would you want to make a town pool? But now, I see the advantage to this because it's a community activity. Community swim lessons, community this. That's one change. Another change is that we've become a little bit more crowded than we were then. Town is cyclical in its population. When my parents moved here, fathers were probably the veterans from World War II. The baby boom times are on. The school population was rising, okay? My high school class, we had 300 kids. We had the biggest high school class than previously from any other class. The schools, they've combined some of the schools, but I do feel that we're back to the boom times, the baby boom times, and we're going to need another elementary school. I love the kids. I love to see the activities that are here for the kids, the baseball, the scout troops, the organizations in town that support the kids.
In your opinion, what makes RP unique?
We are located at the lower end of Bergen County. We're in the shadow of the megalith, New York. I think that gives us a very unique position in the world and in the area. We're basically a bedroom community. We seem to have always been a bedroom community. We had just a little bit of manufacturing in town. Now there's not as much as there was. And I think our uniqueness is the bedroom community and the fact that New York is totally accessible. Wherever we want to go, it's there. It's there for us to get to.
Is there anyone from Ridgefield Park that has influenced you? And if so, who?
One was our former mayor, George Fosdick. George was a character. George used to jump out of the window when I was in high school to go answer fire calls. And I can vividly remember him jumping and running to his car and getting in the car and speeding up the hill to go to the fire call. As I got older and became a scout leader in town, he was a very funny person. I got to know him better that way. I had a Girl Scout troop and we met in the senior center. And we were having an activity at the beginning of the year and we had the parents there. One of the parents was nice enough, she had brought in popcorn, microwave popcorn. So we were in the kitchen and she shoved the bag into the microwave and we were talking. We really weren't paying attention to the microwave. The bag went on fire and she took it out and threw it in the sink. Well, of course, now there's smoke all over the Civic Center and now the fire alarms are going off and the police are coming and this, that, and the other. And Mr. George Fosdick was on the fire department and he comes in, we're all outside, and he walks over to me, and he knew me because I knew his wife from Girl Scouts and this, that, and the other thing. And he walked in and says, "So you're burning down my civic center?" So he was an influence. He seemed to be the perennial mayor. I mean, God willing and the creek won't rise was I think his favorite saying. And it's true. God willing and the creek won't rise. Hopefully, now in these days.
If you had to tell one story that captures the essence of RP, what is it?
Our 4th of July parade and our fireworks. We're famous for this. And a lot of times I used to get upset because the news coverage out of New York was like, what are we? The stepchild that we're not getting covered for this? We're the oldest in the country. We should have a little bit of respect here, Our parades are fantastic. People work very hard on them. I can remember classmates of mine who grew up and started working on these things. And as a matter of fact, I think that's one of the things maybe I should volunteer for. I remember the fireworks. My birthday happens to be on June 30th. And as a small child, I kind of had this misnomer. I thought the 4th of July fireworks were for me. So that's one of my favorite memories, seeing the people playing, the high school orchestra coming and playing and the band and, also going to the Veterans Park and seeing some of the activities during the day that were there. And later myself often, when I had the Girl Scout troops, we did at the end of the year a Girl Scout picnic, and I used to set up an obstacle course for the kids and did little prizes and games and different things and fun things, and then, of course, the barbecue. So that has played a big part in my life. I lived on Webster Street, Lower Webster Street. We always knew, 4th of July, you don't move your cars. You don't move your cars, and you walk up Main Street to see the parade. So.
Are there any other local tradition or events in the village that you recall?
Rag-a-Muffin Parade. I have a story for Rag-a-Muffin Parade. The Rag-a-Muffin Parade was on Euclid Avenue, and it used to run in front of Washington Avenue School, okay? And it would go around, and, we went every year. When I lived on Teaneck Road, I had a friend next door, and we decided we were going to be the 3 blind mice, okay? And we dressed up, and we put my sister, who was still young and small enough, she fit in the doll carriage. So we were the 3 blind mice, and I can remember walking up Teaneck Road and coming up Hobart and coming to and registering and walking around the circle, and then getting our little goodie bag. We didn't win anything, but we sure had a good time, and it was cold.
Are you currently involved in any RP programs or organizations?
Right now, I'm not. Okay. I do belong to one of the organizations in town, but I'm not a member in town. I belong to the Elks, and we do a lot of things for charity and that. And I often go down to the other lodge that I'm not a member of, but because I'm an Elk and it's a national organization, I do go down for their dinners and sometimes whatever they have, going on.
In just one word, what does Ridgefield Park mean to you?
I think I said it before. Wherever I moved, wherever I was, this is home. I moved and I lived in Hackensack. I lived in Little Ferry. This was home. I married somebody from Little Ferry who I swore I never was going to marry anybody from town I married somebody from Little Ferry. And you know what? Little Ferry should be part of Ridgefield Park. They come here for high school. Their kids come here to do things. I understand now that the Girl Scout organization is also affiliated with Little Ferry, so, they're us. They're us too, so I was home. Even though I lived in Little Ferry for a few years. I was home.
Thank you, Karen, for participating in the Voices of the Village.